Part 2, Unit 20. Exercise 1. Leo Leoni, an internationally known designer, illustrator, and graphic artist, was born in Holland and lived in Italy until he came to the United States in 1939. As a little boy, he would go into the museums in Amsterdam, and that's how he taught himself how to draw. He got into writing and illustrating children's books almost by accident. Leoni tore out bits of paper from a magazine and used them as characters and made up a story to entertain his grandchildren on a train ride. This story became what we now know as the children's book titled Little Blue and Little Yellow. He became the first children's author/illustrator to use collage as the main medium for his illustrations. Leoni wrote and illustrated more than 40 children's books. In 1982, Leoni was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, but he kept working in drawing, illustrating, and teaching. He passed away in October 1999 in Italy. Exercise 2. Thomas Jefferson's knowledge of and passion for all things agricultural were truly extraordinary. Driven by a desire to see the South freed from its reliance on cotton, he was always on the lookout for crops that could replace it. While touring the south of France in 1787, Jefferson discovered that Italian rice was preferred to the American import grown in the Carolinas. Intent on discovering why this might be so, he took a detour into the Italian region of Lombardy on a mission of rice reconnaissance, a journey that, because it required crossing the Alps, was extremely dangerous at the time. There he discovered that the good folks of Lombardy were growing a superior strain of crop, whose export for planting outside of Italy was a crime punishable by death. Undaunted, Jefferson sent a small packet of the rice grain to his good friend James Madison and members of the South Carolina delegation. Later, he stuffed his pockets with some of the rice grains and walked it out of the country. The rice is grown in parts of the United States to this day. Exercise 3. It's the late 1800s. Anesthesia has just been introduced. Surgeries are on the rise, but a disturbing number of patients are dying due to infection. Joseph Lister is determined to figure out why and what can be done about it. After much research and thought, he concludes that Pasteur's controversial germ theory holds the key to the mystery. Killing germs in wounds with heat isn't an option, however. A completely new method is required. Lister guesses that there may be a chemical solution, and later that year he reads in a newspaper that the treatment of sewage with a chemical called carbolic acid reduced the incidence of disease among the people and cattle of a nearby small English town. Lister follows the lead and in 1865 develops a successful method of applying carbolic acid to wounds to prevent infection. He continues to work along this line and establishes antisepsis as a basic principle of surgery. Thanks to his discoveries and innovations, amputations become less frequent, deaths due to infection drop sharply, and new surgeries previously considered impossible are being routinely planned and executed.